What can you tell us that gives any perspective other than the obvious on the role of the mother in this?
Well, Chris, this is a situation that has been absolutely sensationalized by the media. Just by listening to your lead in on this story, you are capturing the essence of the issue here. We're talking about a headline that reads, "A House of Horrors, Pure Evil." That is the description that the Ohio Attorney General used. And I believe that that
Yes.
is probably the reason that we're here today doing this interview, is because the Ohio Attorney General, and now picked up by the media, is using this inflammatory and invocative language. So we are at the very early stages of this investigation. I was able to meet with my client, Elizabeth. I've met with her now 3 times. The person that I met does not come across as pure evil. The person that I met comes across as a mother who has been separated from her children, who is exhausted, and who misses her children, and is asking me constantly what she needs to do to see her children again, what she needs to do to ultimately be reunited with her children. That does not jive with the prosecutor's narrative. It doesn't jive with the Attorney General's narrative. And I think because of that language that was used so early on in this case, we are sitting here now having to defend that on television and in the media instead of in a court of law.
Well, that's a choice, and I'm glad you made it, because I think the audience is interested in this, and I think it's helpful for us to understand these situations. Let me ask you something. Have you seen any of the children?
I have not seen any of the children. At this point, they are being placed by the South Central Ohio Job and Family Services.
Have you seen any reports on the condition of the children?
I have not. At this point, again, we are so early on in this case. My office does not even have discovery from the prosecutor's office yet. We have
So you
received
haven't seen
one.
you haven't seen the kids, you haven't seen the medical records yet, because it's very early on. Let me ask you,
Correct.
counsel, where does your sense of righteousness come from when you don't know what you're talking about?
Well, Chris, here's the thing. I've been able to meet with my client. I've spoken to Elizabeth. I'm a criminal defense attorney. Chris, I know you're an attorney too. I sit across from people in the jail all the time. I can get a sense of what someone is thinking, what someone is feeling. It is very clear that Elizabeth Siders cares about these kids. In the hours and hours that I sat there in the jail, she keeps directing the conversation back to, are the kids okay? She's been receiving care packages in the jail, Chris, and today she tried to give me some of the items from her care package to give to the kids.
Do you see the pictures of the home that I'm showing there right now? The descriptions of officers of the conditions and the amount of feces and how they had a hard time staying conscious when they were in there and thought they had to call hazmat. Is that how you think children are normally kept by caring mothers?
So the pictures that I'm seeing now are pictures from outside the home. And I want to make it clear that any of the pictures...
There's a window. There's a window.
Okay. Yes, into the front room there. I don't know the specific layout of the home at this point. I'm sure that's something that we'll learn in discovery. But I think that it's important to remember that all members of the Siders family were living in this home. This was my client, as well as the rest of the family, living in this home. The notion that these kids were somehow confined to this 12 by 12 space is pure conjecture. There is no evidence to support that these kids were in any way restrained in this room. There's no evidence to suggest that these kids were not allowed to go outside of this home. This is a case, Chris, and it's a case that is far too often true here in Southeast Ohio. This is a case of poverty. This may be a case of isolation. It may be a case of parents getting in over their head when it comes to their children and their family. But this is a case of these people living together here.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.